What's up guys, it's Kelly from Oak Street Lokes here. I just want to give a quick shout out to EA for sponsoring this video so I could show you the new replay editor and how to use the updated features for your game footage. This tunnel area is new to Season 2 and you can find the entrance to it on the street underneath the Hegemont Extrovert shop. So what are keyframes? Keyframes are basically a save point of camera information. In the advanced editor you can hit down on the D-pad to insert a keyframe. Not much will happen when you only have one. But when you go forward in the timeline and set another keyframe somewhere else, it's going to tell the camera where to move. So you see that when I move back and forth between the keyframes, it's going to move to the position where I place my keyframes. In this video, I'll use both the default replay editor and the advanced editor to export a clip to show you how to improve your footage with keyframes. To open the replay editor, you can hold down the D-pad and down to the right on the right stick, or you can just long press on the select button and it'll also open the editor. The replay editor will start by showing you the default mode with basic editing tools. The first thing you should do is adjust the timeline. Tap the right bumper to edit the timeline, then set your start and end points with the D-pad. Then just hit right bumper again to confirm your changes. For this, we're just going to use the gameplay camera for a quick replay export. When we want to export our clip, we can just hit the select button. Tap X and you'll get a countdown timer, and there'll also be a confirmation when it's done. As it plays back, you can use this time to do a final check to see if you like the playback or you want to make any other changes. I can see that the clip goes through some scaffolding, but it's not too major, so I'll just leave it in right now. If you're on PC, you'll now get an option to go directly to the folder that stores all your replays. It's as easy as that to make a basic clip. Now we can switch over to advanced editing by hitting X. You're going to see this new menu at the top of the screen. This is where you're going to trim the timeline, set keyframes, then save and export. When you're on the keyframes tab, you can long press down on the left stick to bring up the controls helper. This will give you information on how to move the camera around. Up and down on the left stick will move the camera forward and backward. Right stick will rotate the camera. Holding Y while moving the left stick allows you to move the camera up and down and left and right. But also holding Y while pressing up and down on the D-pad will adjust the field of view or focal length. On the keyframes menu page, there's a bunch of camera information on the upper right corner. If we tap X to enter edit mode, we can see how these affect the camera and where you can make these changes yourself. Orbit will act like the gameplay camera where it follows you around. Free camera allows you to move it wherever you want, even without having your skater in the frame. And tripod will be a camera that basically stays in one place. Target will only apply to orbit and tripod cameras. You can choose between body, head, or board as the focal point. Next is field of view for how wide the camera sees. Tilt for looking up and down. Roll for rotating the camera. And the X and Y offset will move the camera off center point from your skater. The camera that most people are going to want to use is probably the free camera. It does look like it removes some of the settings for the camera position, but you can actually adjust the position on the fly. So we're just going to select the free camera and start placing some keyframes on our footage. All you need to do to place a keyframe is just press down the D-pad. Since this is a line, we're going to be placing down a lot of keyframes to keep the camera moving along with the action. I'm going to set my first few keyframes with the preview disabled because I'll be swinging the camera around after the first trick. Keeping preview disabled until I'm looking in the direction I'm skating allows me to move the camera easier. If I had it enabled when I scrubbed the timeline forward, the camera would be still looking where my last keyframe was placed instead of where the action is headed. After I have the camera turned again, I can enable preview to follow my skater. What I'm doing here is just advancing the timeline a few seconds and marking keyframes along the way. With free camera, the camera's only going to go where you tell it to be, so I'm framing the shot how I want the video to look. If this is a real cameraman filming, then I wouldn't be able to fly under the scaffolding, but I'm going to treat it a little bit like a filmer and a little bit like a drone shot. So you can see that I've laid down a lot of keyframes. You do not need this many, but I also like to scrub through my replay and tweak and adjust my keyframes. Sometimes a keyframe just doesn't mesh with the other ones, or you might have set a camera position that's not really consistent with the other ones. You can just delete or change your keyframes so the camera has a better flow through the scene. The camera's a bit too close to my shoe here, so I'm going to back up in the timeline a bit and set another keyframe that's a little farther away. I could delete the one that's a little bit too close, but sometimes those imperfections give it a human touch. At this point, I just kind of go through the rest of the timeline, checking for keyframes that are out of place, maybe delete some, maybe add some, make some final adjustments until I'm satisfied, and then I just export it. This time when you're ready to save your clip, you're going to select the Export tab. This time when you're ready to save your clip, you're going to select the Export tab, hit Select to enter drafts, then tap A to export the clip. You'll get a confirmation screen before the replay is played. And that should be everything you need to know about the updated replay editor in Season 2 of Skate. Season 2 of Skate starts on December 2nd.